All right, people, what the hell is going on? Where's my goddamn biscuit? Got a biscuit. This will be my Talkin Texans season outlook episode here. The Texans are in Detroit at the moment. I think they play Detroit on Saturday. I believe it's Thursday now, but they play on Saturday. At this point, we're waiting on the final 53. That's it. You're gonna see who gets cut. Since they do all this shit at once now, I don't usually keep track of all this stuff or how they used to do it. I do kind of remember them trimming down as they went. Now they just say fuck it and cut everybody all at goddamn once. But yeah, but I'm still looking forward to watching the Texans play on Saturday. Goddamn, so I can get a gist of what some of the backups might look like. I watched the first two games. It ain't really much to take in. You know what I'm saying? You watch the starters play for a series or two, and then that's it for the rest of the game, and then you just kind of watching the backups. And then at this point, you'll see a bunch of the backups playing, but there's going to be a lot of folks out there that wouldn't normally play that's going to be out there because they don't want none of the starters or probably none of the important backups out there on the field. So it ain't a whole lot to go on as far as who will make the team and who not and all this other stuff. I don't follow the team. All I go by is the talking heads on YouTube. See my head? The talking heads on YouTube that actually cover the Texans, the little media people that's on YouTube that cover the practices, and Aaron Wilson and SNL. Sometimes the one of the I catch one of the Locked On podcast people, or catch one of those folks on, something like that. I watch that. I can only watch one of those because after you don't watch one of them, all the rest of them are going to be talking about the same shit. So, but it's generally the same. It's the offensive line and right now the running back room. That's it. As far as just what people are focusing on, the offensive line and the running back room. The receivers are set. You know what I'm saying? Towards the bottom of the list, you got somebody that might get cut, and those are people that you probably wouldn't see in the game much anyway, unless it was on special teams. The offensive line, though, there's still a lot of shuffling that can go on. Everybody got their predictions of what's going to happen. Everybody's like, okay, they think they're going to leave Ursary at the left tackle. Then you got Tomlinson at the left guard. I think most people think Andrews is going to be the starting center. And then at the right guard and the right tackle, that's where shit kind of gets kind of iffy. You know what I'm saying? Because do they want to keep the continuity they got out there now, or they want to try to put their best five out there? Which, if you want to put your best five out there, that might mean moving, depending on what you think of that right guard spot. That might mean putting Cam back at left tackle, Ursary at right, and moving Titus back to right guard. If you want your best five, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it's the best five. But like I say, I watch the games. I don't see enough of the O-line play to analyze offensive line play and shit like that. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm not that guy. I was a tight end when I played, and I never really had to pay too much attention what went on down there. You know what I'm saying? But the guy that we got from Minnesota, we got two guys from Minnesota. The guard that we got from Minnesota, Ed Ingram, I think his name is supposed to be showing pretty good. They had him running first team reps. Do they want to keep him at first team? They want to move Titus down to the guard because Titus ain't been doing much. It seems like they've been resting Titus. Cam Robinson, the left tackle, I don't know what kind of injury he got, but he was out for a little bit. And they paying him a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? If you want to pay him a lot of money and have him sitting on the bench, you know what I'm saying? Or you want to take that, put it, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, you got room for the best five, and the people you got doubts about could be in that backup role. You can always, even during the season, you can switch that shit up. You know what I'm saying? The way they've been doing shit is that I'm pretty sure they cross-train the offensive lineman to where you can go from side to side and shit like that. Or you have somebody like, well, you ain't gonna have people like that, like Titus Howard, that can play across the line except for probably center. You know what I'm saying? You could probably play either tackle spot in a pinch and play either guard spot. So, but you don't have a team full of those. You got one of those. One. You got Drew Scruggs. You can play left guard, right guard, or center. Thing is, he's not a starter at any of those positions right now. Now, when the season starts, we're going to see. But for right now, he's not a starter at any of those positions. But he on the team because he can play either of those positions. You know what I'm saying? He'd be second team after all three of those. So if the center go down, he probably third. If the right or left guard go down, he'll be either second or third behind one of those. But I'm thinking the offensive line is going to be fine. I'm thinking the offensive line is going to be fine. All the other folks out there that throw out these predictions and these rankings and shit before the game even start, I mean before the season even start, I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. You don't know who's going to be a good team. You know what I'm saying? If you've been a Texas fan, you know what I'm saying, from day one, you don't know who's going to be a good team. You done went out there and been like, okay, if you've been to Texas, you done this. You done came out and be like, this team, yeah, the Texas ain't, man, all right. And then you go out there and they just like, oh shit, them motherfuckers got it. And then you've also been like, okay, this the team right here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? This team gonna make a Super Bowl run and fuck around and go 1-15 or whatever the fuck it is. We're damn near the same team that you was beating the fuck out of. I mean, you done been there. You don't know if the team gonna be good or not. You just don't. You just don't. And they got these rankings that don't mean shit. There, somebody was like, yeah, you know, they said the Texans. They said the Texans have. I don't know who the fuck I was watching. Some nobodies. It was like the Texans. This is probably the worst running back room in the league. You know what? They said the exact same thing 2 years ago. They did. About the Houston, I was finna say the Houston Rockets. Oh my goodness. They said the same thing 2 years ago. Yeah, they said the same thing 2 years ago when Stroud first came in. I forget the years. They said, yeah, they got the worst receiver room in the league. Them boys was lighting motherfuckers up. You know what I'm saying? They was lighting motherfuckers up. Worst receiver room in the league, huh? Don't look like it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it don't look like it from here. And then you got the running back room, because Joe Mixon is out. Well, so it don't matter if Joe Mixon is out if your offensive line is fixed. You know what I'm saying? It really don't. If your offensive line is fixed to where it ain't horrible like it was last year, with the running backs they got in the room now, you are more than fine. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, okay, because Mixon got a little barely over 1,000 yards last year. He missed time. He should have had a lot more than that. But anyway, this year, with the people they got in the room now, if they manage to stay healthy, with Scruggs, the fuck is Scruggs? He a goddamn offensive lineman. Chubb, goddamn, with Chubb, Pierce, and Marks. I don't count Ogumawale in that rushing the ball thing. He'd be in the game, but he's not gonna be in there to rush the ball. He's a special teamer. If those three are the ones if those three running backs are who you going into the season with, you got a 1,000-yard rusher with at least one of those. You know what I'm saying? You do. You got a 1,000-yard rusher, depending on how they do the carries. If they do it by committee, then man, they spread the shit out because they don't want to just bruise everybody the fuck up. All those guys can end up with about 600-700 yards rushing. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the goddamn season. If you got one workhorse in there, now I don't know about Marks, but just because somebody does some shit in college don't mean that, shit don't change once they come to another level. You gotta see them actually working. But I'm just thinking, if the offensive line is decent like it's supposed to be, Chubb can have a 1,000-yard season. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying he's gonna rush for like 15, 16, 1,700 yards and shit like that. But he can have a 1,000-yard season. Pierce can have a 1,000-yard season. You know what I'm saying? He was a workhorse when he first got in the goddamn league. It ain't his fault that Bobby Slowick came here with a shitty-ass offense that he wasn't fit for. It's not his fault. Now, it was his fault for whatever reason. He was always fucking hurt. Now, I don't know what the fuck it is about that shit. That's the thing with Dameon Pierce, is that he's always fucking hurt. You don't see him hurting the game. He ain't never limping in the game and no shit like that, nothing like that. It's just that, okay, he's out. Like, what the fuck? This motherfucker done strained the quadricep muscle or hamstring or some shit, taking a shit somewhere. I don't know. But all his injuries are like that. They're always strains and sprains that always happen, that always seem to happen off the fucking field or somewhere, because you never see the shit in the game. Every time you see him in the game, he's fine. And then all of a sudden he's not dressed or whatever for the next couple games because he's hurt for some goddamn reason. That's the thing with Dameon Pierce. If he's in the game and this offensive line is decent and the offensive scheme is working well, that's some home run shit for you right there. The other backs, you got Jawad Jordan. It just, I don't know. I ain't seen enough of them. I ain't seen enough of those guys to know enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, I don't. I think he's gonna be one of those special teams guys. They didn't already cut J.J. Taylor, and it's just what you expect. You know what I'm saying? So you got that, but the running back room is fine as far as I can tell. Even with the guys you got back there now, even if you got to scratch Pierce for whatever reason, if he turns up hurt all the goddamn time like he did, like he did for the last couple seasons, and you got to throw Ogumawale in there, whatever. If the offensive line is doing what he can do, all those guys can rush for 3, 4, 5 yards per carry. You know what I'm saying? That's what you want them to do. You know what I'm saying? They can all do that. You know what I'm saying? Don't expect much from that, because they was talking about all years that Chubb can't do this, Chubb can't do that, and then you get him in the game, and it's like, okay, all right, Chubb don't look all that bad. You know, you looking at him in practice where you can't do shit. You're not tackling in practice. You're not playing 100% in practice. You're not. You know what I'm saying? If you can't hit a motherfucker and take him down in practice like you do in the game, which I'm pretty sure happens, you know what I'm saying? But I'm pretty sure that there's a limit to the shit. You're not going 100%. You know what I'm saying? It ain't until you get somebody else on the field that you ain't trying to, you ain't worried about the welfare of them motherfuckers at all. Because if I'm on defense or I'm on offense and I'm going against my people in practice and it's supposed to be 100, a full speed practice or whatever, I'm still where I don't want to do shit the way I hurt the other motherfucker on the other side of the ball. We need them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like that. We need them. It's a reason why they have quarterbacks in the fucking red shirt. You can't even touch the motherfuckers. It's a reason why, they put different colored jerseys on certain players, so it's no contact. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why motherfuckers out there in them fucking padded ass helmets and shit, but that's voluntary. It's just okay. You know what I'm saying? You ain't worry about that shit. It's till you get in the game, and then all of a sudden, because people weren't talking about the offense worth shit. The media people that's at the practice, you know what I'm saying? They be, damn, man, the offense is, they had some spots, but the defense is, woo, man. But the offense, and then as soon as the offense gets some reps against another goddamn team, and then you see them in game time, it's like, okay. Okay, the offense don't look all that bad. The offense, you got to see them against other goddamn people. I think one of the coaches even said, you know what I'm saying? You got our defense going against our offense. We know the personnel. We know what they gonna run. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, okay, you have to get a look against other people that ain't just, can just tee off on you because they know what the fuck you gonna do. Or you gotta, on defense or whatever, if you already up to what they doing, or the scheme or whatever the fuck, then you gotta lay up on motherfuckers just so you don't disrupt the offense past a certain point. It's just like, okay, you got a sack. You know what I'm saying? You get by the offensive lineman, you got a sack. You just kind of run up the goddamn field or some shit like that, and you let them just go ahead, so the rest of the field can get part of that repetition in. That kind of shit. Now, you get them in the goddamn game where you ain't got to worry about all that shit. Offense didn't look all that bad, even though you only seen, and even then, I'm one of those people. Even you only seen them for 4 series, 2 series, 1 game. Matter of fact, it was on the 2 series. Then playing the first game, so you only seen them for 2 series. They went 3 and out the first one, so you only seen them in 1 series that was, okay, scored a touchdown, and they had to go for 4 on that. So during the season, that would have been a field goal. That would have been the shit that the same shit that kind of fucked them up last year. Get down in the red zone, bam, you got to go for a field goal. You're not opening up the game, going down there and going for it on 4 downs. You're not doing that. But I mean, whatever. But the offense looked like it was running well. It looked like it was running well. You ain't gonna know that for sure, no matter what the personnel look like, because they not going out there with some shitty ass personnel where you just like, oh man, this is gonna suck. They going out there, okay. Let's see what do. Is the offensive coordinator gonna be able to, move around in the game? You know what I'm saying? Unlike Bobby Slowick, which, it's when you got people like me and other people like me that's bitching and moaning. They not bitching and moaning about the people in the game. You know what I'm saying? They bitching and moaning about the play calling. When everybody notices that your play calling sucks, you know what I'm saying? You got all these armchair quarterbacks out here, and this is like, that's fucking obvious. Even for me, I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And I don't even pay attention to a whole bunch of shit like that. I'm not no goddamn football strategist. You tell me to call a goddamn game, I'm like, we about to lose. We about to lose. It ain't nothing inside this fucking old ass Madden head of mine. Goddamn, this fucking phone sliding. You know, this old ass Madden head of mine. Cause that's what I'd have to go. That's what I have to go through. You know what I'm saying? If I had to call a football game, I have to go. And I'm not even modern Madden. I'm fucking 50 years old. I gotta go back to when Madden first came out. When I was young. Madden been out a long ass time. You know, when I was young. And you know, I gotta think of those little squares with the plays and shit. I gotta think of those shit. I'm like, all right, I need a play where the motherfucker do this and this and this. Yeah, I need a fly, a cross, and a post. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck you call it, but I need motherfuckers doing that shit. That's what I need right now. What are they running on defense? I don't know. Well, you know what I'm saying? It just... You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got to do that shit for 3 hours. Oh, man. Woo! Ah! God damn it. No goddamn thank you. Kind of see why Bobby Slow was like, man, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing. This shit is stressful. But do we have an offensive coordinator now that can manage that shit? He seemed like a high energy motherfucker, so I don't think none of that shit would bother him. He'd get off on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Scheme this shit up. You know what I'm saying? Oh, they think they finna do this. Let's do this over here. Let's do this over there. They came up with this. All right, let's do that. Not, I want to do this right here, and we gonna do this right here and just see what the fuck happens. None of that shit. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have enough of that. We don't need no more of that. We don't need no more of that. We need to be able to adjust to whatever the defense is doing. Because we had enough of defenses teeing off on us because for whatever reason our offense just it seemed predictable as fuck. And just think about it. When I was talking about the run game, people were like, yeah, the run game looked good. Woody Marks looked good. You know what I'm saying? When he was out there. Blah, blah, blah looked good when he was out there. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. And you got to think about it. If you're looking at the game on TV, all the plays look alike. They're not opening up the playbook. All the plays look like, okay, get the ball, run that way. Right up. You see that? Right? Just run that way. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't know where I'm pointing, but I'm pointing straight up the goddamn line. Right now. You know, run that way. That's what when I keep wanting to say Juice Scruggs. What the fuck? When Nick Chubb got the ball, every goddamn time, there were probably different plays. There's probably different blocking schemes on all those plays. But on TV, all you see is a bunch of motherfuckers together doing this shit. You know what I'm saying? I see him get the ball and run up the goddamn line like that. I didn't see it with no outside shit. He wasn't slanting out that way or doing nothing. Nope. Get the ball, run up that goddamn way, get about 3, 4, 5 yards, and that's it. Now, how that shit gonna look when they actually start scheming for this shit to happen? When they start putting your ass in a position to run the goddamn ball and they ain't just running the ball up the goddamn middle every goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? Whether they gonna have traps or any other guy, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck they gonna be doing, running with a fullback, you know what I'm saying? And running leads and counters and all kind of shit. You know how the running backs do. Who the fuck is this calling me? God damn it, I'm not answering that. That looked like one of them spam calls. Fuck that shit. I'm sorry, y'all. I saw y'all had to look in my face like that. The little call thing popped up on my goddamn screen. It's real small, and I cannot see who the fuck was. I think I seen 2625. That's been a spam number I've been getting for the last I don't know how long, so I'm not even bothering gonna answer that. Anywho, Um, yeah, so the wide receivers, I don't think it matters who they have in there. If they top guys are ready to go, it's all good. God damn it. Yeah, if they top guys are ready to go, I don't have any reason to not think any of those guys are not ready to play. Just, if you put them out there, they gonna do what they do. If you throw them the ball, they fucking catch it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's the simplest thing with wide receiver. You throw them the ball, they catch it. Throwing the ball, they catch it. It was like that last season, even though the offensive line sucked and supposedly we didn't have the best receivers out there, which is true because our top receivers were hurt for a bunch of the goddamn season, if not all. And the guys we had out there, for the most part, if you gonna always have drops and shit. It's just whatever. But if you threw them the ball, they fucking caught it. You know what I'm saying? If you threw them the ball, they caught it. What else? What else do you want them to do? Now, the personnel. Now, I think it'll be a whole lot different if we'd have had the coaching we have now, even not knowing what that coaching is going to look like. Last season, you know what I'm saying? If we'd have had the coaching we have now, last season, God damn it, man. You know what I'm saying? Just woo. You know what I'm saying? You could take those receivers that we had. You could take John Mechie, Robert Woods, and Hutchinson, and Nico Collins. You know, that's who we had at the end of the season because Tank Dell had fucking got hurt. And Tank Diggs. And Stephon Diggs had got hurt. You got those receivers. You still, not counting your tight ends, you still got the same tight ends. You should be able to run your fucking offense. And the thing that I noticed was when a receiver went down the whole offense, I'm like, okay, if a receiver go down, you put another motherfucker there. You know what I'm saying? You put another motherfucker there. Because the shit that they had, like if Nico Collins go down and you move a motherfucker over there, probably Stephon Diggs is probably what they had over there. Once Nico got back, he was in that right spot over there. But when motherfuckers get hurt, the whole offense change. You know what I'm saying? It's just like if motherfucker get hurt, the whole offense. No. That's the whole thing. If a motherfucker get hurt, boom, you stick a motherfucker out there. You keep doing what you've been doing, especially if what you're doing was working. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things, everybody, all the players are different. You know, you just can't do the same stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like certain players out there, you ain't for to give certain receivers like screens and shit. I don't know. I think he was bad with he throwing screens to receivers. I'm like, I ain't never seen this dude run after the catch. But he keep getting these goddamn screens. Like Robert Woods. He kept getting screens. Why you keep throwing screens to Robert Woods? I ain't seen this man. I know Robert Woods was supposedly good at one point. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't never seen him as somebody you throw a screen to and let him do with the ball. You know what I'm saying? You throw Robert Woods the ball, he catches it. You know, he can come across the field, bloop, Robert Woods catch the ball, come back to the that's it. I ain't never seen this man catch the ball and go and trek his ass up the field for another 15, 20 yards or some shit like that. I have not seen it. I ain't saying that he ain't never done it, but in a Texas uniform, no, I ain't never seen it. I never seen it. So why are you steady throwing this man screens that never work? Every time he throw this man a screen, it's like, okay, he got tackled right where he caught the ball. This is pointless. That's what I was talking about. Is the coaching gonna be better than that? You throw a motherfucker a screen, which I'm fine with, but let it at least be to a motherfucker that's got a reputation for fucking over motherfuckers once they get the ball. You know what I'm saying? Some screens, motherfuckers defenses know what the fuck a screen look like. You know what I'm saying? You thought, okay, yeah, okay, they over there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? They over there. Yeah, we already know this. So you ain't gonna fool motherfuckers all the goddamn time, but at least throw it to a motherfucker that's gonna do something with the goddamn ball. You know, once they get it. It didn't happen a whole lot, you know, with the Texans last year. This year, I think it might be a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? I think they might like, because they ran a couple of screens that I've seen that got positive yards. Now, if there's something that they gonna fuck somebody over, because motherfuckers gonna jump on them screens, and it's gonna be some shit wide open somewhere. They gonna be like, motherfucker. They gonna try to jump on one of them goddamn screens, and it's gonna be a motherfucker sitting down, camped out in the middle of the goddamn field, just hanging out, because everybody done jumped on the screens and they got ate up on them shits. Yeah. That's kind of the whole point of having successful plays. The successful plays set up the inverse. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers come rushing up the goddamn field. The motherfuckers know if you come rushing up the goddamn field, or they should, and the quarterback is like, and you be like, okay, this is too easy. Nigga, I ain't won not one matchup with this goddamn tackle the whole goddamn game. All of a sudden, I'm back here in the backfield with the quarterback by himself. And a lot of motherfuckers will be like, nope. And they'll back off. They'll back off towards the goddamn flat. No, nigga, nah. Okay. It's either that or they'll start doing some weird ass shit. They'll stop chasing you and do some weird ass shit. So at least you won't be able to how to throw over the head or some shit like that. At least you're supposed to. You know, motherfuckers be out there playing football like they ain't never played football beyond the last year or so. You know what I'm saying? If you notice a quarterback is backing the fuck up and the blocking was kind of suspect, it's probably a goddamn screen. So yeah, you might want to try to find a passing lane to get into, because a lot of times if you block that passing lane off, it might not be nobody else for the quarterback to throw to. It should be an outlet somewhere. It should be an outlet somewhere. But let them go to that goddamn outlet. Don't let them go to their goddamn primary. So, and anyway, the receivers, that's fine. Quarterback, we already know the quarterback. Yeah, that's no goddamn discussion. On the other side of the ball, I can't tell you shit. That shit has been set for a long ass goddamn time. You got your two defensive ends, Daniil and Will, and you got your corners, Kamari and fucking Derek. You got your safety, Kalen, but you do have the strong safety hurt. You know what I'm saying? You got your strong safety hurt, so they gonna have a plug-in right there. But the plug-in they have right there is gonna be somebody that you've seen in this goddamn secondary plenty times already. So you're going to have some sort of confidence that whoever they stick there, you know what I'm saying, unless they stick somebody new in there, but whoever they put in that spot is somebody that's been in this defense already and played in that spot probably. So Gardner Johnson is out for now, and nickel is the other shit. That's a unique position on this goddamn team. So you got one or two people that's going to be there. You got Petrie, who's going to be starting in that position, and whoever's backing him up. Is it going to be a swing guy DB? I don't know if they're going to have another guy that's specifically playing that position just like he is, or they're going to swap it out for one of the linebackers at some point because they're going to be moving the defense around and shit like that. That's why, and I can't even say nothing about all that. They got a bunch of linebackers. They got a bunch of fucking linebackers. They all seem good. You know what I'm saying? They got a bunch of linebackers. They all seem good. I don't think it really fucking matters who's playing linebacker. You know what I'm saying? I don't really think it matters with the people they got on the team right now. I don't think out of those two main people that they got playing linebacker, the people that's playing behind them, whether they go 4-2 or 4-3, who's ever playing behind that second unit is just as will be just as productive as first. That's how the defense is. It's just like it don't fucking matter. The people that they got out there, if they got to take their starters out and put their goddamn backups in to rest, it ain't no goddamn rest. Because the motherfuckers that they put in there that they rotate in will beat your head just like everybody else would. It's just you know what I'm saying? It's just like what the fuck? And that's the team, man. That's the team. That's the outlook. Now, I do another one of these videos after at some point in between the Lions game and the start of the season. Once they actually do the cut down and you see who's on the team, because you know it's gonna be other moves made. They're gonna cut their players. They're gonna cut because it's a bunch of little roster shit that I have no. But for us, waving and cutting and releasing, and they got a bunch of different terms and they all mean different shit. They do. They all mean different shit. I mean, the cutting part is kind of universal, but waving motherfuckers and releasing them and shit. There's a difference between all the other shit and who ends up on some kind of injury list, reserve list, and all kind of shit like that. It's just, I am ignorant to all of that. I just know that all that shit exists. How it exists, I don't know, because I know from what I hear, motherfuckers end up on the injury reserve and all this other kind of shit. And I know it's two different ones. One where you miss 4 games and the other where you miss 6 and all that. All that shit. That. I don't know a lot about that. But what they do have is a bunch of players that's gonna release, they get cut, and then they have to clear waivers. So they gonna be able to go out on other people's teams and scout for players again to bring in. And they might bring in people for their practice squad. People gonna be coming in picking off people that we had to put on waivers and shit like that. So that's another big player swap that's gonna happen. So we gonna have another influx of players, a bunch of which probably just end up on a practice squad. Some of which might end up on the roster. And then you still have free agents and shit out there. So it's a lot of shit that can happen before the actual start of the goddamn season. I don't see the Texans having a whole bunch of major shit happen unless because the only big doubt they got right now is Joe Mixon. You know what I'm saying? That's the only big thing. They don't nobody know, because at this point the Texans ain't been required to disclose whatever's going on with Joe Mixon. At some point they will, but right now they don't have to. So he's just kind of been floating in the goddamn wind wherever the fuck he's at, because ain't everybody that's been covering and been like, they ain't seen him, they ain't done nothing. And I'm like, okay, how the hell is this dude gonna be ready? Well, at this point I don't see him for at least the first, I don't know how many goddamn week 4 to 6 weeks of the season. You know what I'm saying? That's my prediction on Joe Mixon. 4 to 6 weeks, start the season. He ain't gonna be there. Because if he hurt, he gonna have to go on one of those lists. And one of those injury lists is 4 games and another one is 6. So he gonna be on one of those goddamn lists. Because it ain't no way he gonna be like, okay, I'm back, and then be out there. No. This man ain't practiced, ain't done shit. As far as we know, I'm talking my ass off, but I'm like, as far as we know, ain't nobody mentioned him in practice. And the people that I watch be mentioning everything in practice. They mention motherfuckers standing on the sideline in plain clothes. They mention everything in goddamn practice. They mention stupid shit at practice. I'm like, we don't even know that. And ain't nobody saying shit about Joe Mixon other than they ain't seen him. So, yeah. But like I said, the running back room is fine. If with the people that they have. The running back room is fine with the people that they have. They have a 1,000-yard rusher in their running back room. They do. They ever thought if the offensive line turns out to be average. You know what I'm saying? If the offensive line turns out to be average, I ain't saying they gotta be super great. If the offensive line turns out to be average, which they weren't last year, if they turn out to be average, you got a 1,000-yard rusher in that running back room, barring injuries. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna see. Like I said, it ain't much to look forward to this weekend with the Lions game. It's gonna be a bunch of backups and shit out there, but whatever. It's football, and then we start looking forward to the season to start. Yeah, start looking forward to the season to start. That's what I'm talking about, and we gonna get it. We'll be sitting here in front of this big ass TV, watching me some goddamn Texans. Hopefully not as frustrating as last year. The only thing kept it from being so frustrating last year, other than the shit we saw on offense, was the fact that they had a winning season. It wasn't a big winning season, you know what I'm saying? 10-7 is it's only a few games over 500, but you know, whatever. That's a testament, you know, with what they had to work with. But if they doing what they supposed to do, and matter of fact, it was somebody talking about this yesterday. It's just like they just need to beat the teams they supposed to beat. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be considered up in that top tier, you have to beat the teams you're supposed to beat. And that means technically sweeping the fucking the AFC South, because everybody in the AFC South as of now is supposed to be teams that the Texans should beat. Now I talked about this shit earlier. We don't know who's gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody played no games yet. And I really hate when people do this, but you know, this is something that has to be answered going after we done got into the season a little bit, and you be like, okay, this is where this team is, this is where that team is, and blah blah blah. After you've seen them in some game-to-game action after about 3 or 4 weeks, and see where people are after like 4 or 5 games, and then you can kind of gauge who's gonna be good and who not. You know, at least until that point, because you know motherfuckers will start off 5-0 and then shit the rest of the goddamn season for whatever reason. And I'm one of those people that, yeah, just the most important games is the ones you supposed to beat, the people you supposed to beat. And one of my big things is I was like, gotta win the goddamn division. I don't give a fuck how you do it. Like I said, you don't know who gonna be good and who not. The goddamn AFC South gonna end up like the NFC North or some shit. You know what I'm saying? That was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like literally, all those teams are fucking good. Even Chicago was like the worst out of those teams, and hell, they would smack you if you ain't paying the goddamn attention. And they had a rookie quarterback. So yeah, I don't think you're gonna be. Chicago ain't probably gonna be the same as they was last year. Oh boy. So so yeah, you don't know who's gonna be good and who not until we get into the goddamn season. Everybody talking about the Texans should sweep the AFC South. It's kind of irresponsible to say that, but people, you know, they online doing their little podcasts and their little shit. This how they spend their time, and some of them how they make their money. This is what they do. So they have to talk. They have to say some shit. The only thing about talking sometimes, if you talk and you got to keep on talking, eventually you're going to say some dumb shit. You know what I'm saying? Eventually you're going to say some dumb shit. And my dumb shit is that we ain't going to know until we get into the goddamn season who's going to be good or not. You know what I'm saying? I root for the Texans, but we don't know if they're going to be good or not. I done got bit with this shit before, thinking the Texans was good. Texans going to AFC championship game. No. Because everybody got these expectations. If you listen to the rhetoric from players talking, coaches talking, and blah, 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 I'm like, no, you know, you trying to get to a Super Bowl. Yeah, no, you need to be trying to win a division. You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught looking over there when it's a motherfucker swinging at you right here. You know, you got 3 other motherfuckers sitting in your face throwing punches, and you thinking about shit over across the goddamn street. No, these motherfuckers you got to deal with right here. Win your goddamn division. Make it to the playoffs. However you make it to the playoffs, because you don't know how that shit gonna turn out. Win your division. Get you a playoff seed. You know what I'm saying? You want a good one, but you ain't in control of that all the goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? You ain't always in control of that. There's other people out there trying to do the same thing you doing, so you ain't always in control of that. Get you a playoff seed, and then move from there. You know what I'm saying? You want to get the best you can get out of the playoff seeds, but win your goddamn division. That should be your first goddamn goal. Because, like I said, you don't know who gonna be good or not. You might not be. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else might win the goddamn division. Shit. Yeah, you never fucking know. Somebody else might win the division. You might have a decent year, you know, and fighting for a wild card spot or some shit. Get a playoff seed. Your first goddamn your first goal is getting the goddamn playoff seed. That's winning your goddamn division. That should be your goddamn goal. At start of the year. Winning your division. Because those are games that happen during the fucking year that you have to fucking win. All the rest of those games don't mean shit. That's why when I'm looking at the scores, I'm watching other games, all I'm doing is rooting for the other goddamn conference. I'm always rooting for the other goddamn conference. Or I'm rooting for the opposite team of whoever's going against one of the divisional teams. I say, all right, man, I need y'all to whoop up on them goddamn Jaguars. Or if anybody in the NFC is playing anybody in the AFC, I need you to whoop up on them. You know, put an L in their goddamn category, and I need the Texans to win. That you know, that stacks up if we can get that going. That's how I root. That's how I chill. You know what I'm saying? I need for motherfuckers in the NFC to beat the goddamn AFC. You know what I'm saying? That's I need for everybody in football to beat up on everybody inside the AFC South except for the goddamn Houston Texans. That's what I need. That's what I root for. It's fucking great. Don't always happen like that. Sometimes, with the way the AFC South be looking, it's like, I see why people say the Texans should sweep, but like I said, you don't fucking know. Don't, the Colts and shit. It's just like, okay, well, the Colts, they put Daniel Jones at fucking that quarterback. I mean, they started Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones sucked. Yeah. No, the Giants sucked. You know what I'm saying? The Giants suck. Sometimes when you got these quarterbacks that always end up starting, it's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's for a reason. Some of us, it's hard to see. Sometimes it's just like, okay, I done seen Daniel Jones play. Not a lot, but I done seen enough to be like, he's one of those quarterbacks that has tools. He got size, he got speed. You know what I'm saying? I think he got an arm. You know what I'm saying? It'd be real whack if he didn't have an arm and had his size, but we had Matt Sharp. Matt Sharp didn't have an arm or speed. But yeah, we got that. So you have to see how, and the Texans barely beat the goddamn Colts last year, so it ain't like they just pounded on them or some shit like that. The Colts had to do some dumb shit for the damn Texans to win. So yeah, like the Titans beat the Texans, and the Texans beat the Titans at the end of the season in one of those games that didn't mean shit, and they fucking starters didn't even play. It's just, yeah. So saying that they should sweep, I'm just like, nah, don't. That shit is a little bit more of a toss-up than you might think. You know what I'm saying? And I've been watching this goddamn division for a long ass goddamn time. And even when the Texans were good, them games is like, man, it's sometimes you get spanked up on. Sometimes you spank up on them, and then sometimes you never fucking know how those games are gonna turn out. Whether you gonna just drive them in the dirt, they gonna drive you in the dirt for whatever reason, or you'll be fighting for your goddamn life at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to each out a win or keep them from kicking a goddamn field goal for 100 goddamn yards or whatever the fuck people doing nowadays. It's just, but we're gonna see. You're gonna see. That's why we watch the games, people. That's why we watch the games. So we can sit there and all these predictions don't mean shit. Everything that I just said don't mean shit. You gotta watch the game, see what the fuck just happened, or what just happened. See what the fuck happens. You know what I'm saying? Take it in as we go. Unless they start bullshitting, and then I won't watch, because I've done that before too. Oh my goodness. Anyway, it's time for me to. Hey, as soon as I get away from this goddamn fan, it get instantly hot. Oh my goodness. How my voice sound like that. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna catch y'all on the next video before the season starts, and we gonna see what the Texans about to cook up.